All right, today we are going on a really fascinating journey. Not across the globe, but actually deep inside ourselves. We're going to be decoding our own DNA to see how a simple test can unlock the epic story of our ancestors and reveal where we truly come from. You know, it's a question that pretty much everyone asks themselves at some point, right? And it goes way beyond the town you grew up in or the country on your passport. It's about those deep, ancient journeys your ancestors took that eventually, somehow, led to you. So how do we even begin to answer a question that big? Well, these days, millions of people are turning to something called an Ancestry Panel. So let's break down what these things actually promise. Think of it like a personal genetic atlas, a map of your family's journey through time. This is a service that digs into your DNA to map out where your family came from, not just a few decades ago, but across continents and through generations. It can uncover a heritage you might not have even known existed. The real magic behind this is something called autosomal DNA. Now, what's cool about this is it isn't just tracing your father's line or your mother's line. Nope. It looks at the DNA you inherited from all of your recent ancestors, so you get this incredibly comprehensive 360-degree view of your entire family tree. So what is it that makes millions of people want to do this? To send a sample of their DNA off to a lab? Well, the reasons are just as diverse as our DNA itself. The motivations here are so personal. For a lot of people, it just starts with simple curiosity. For others, it's a seriously powerful tool for genealogy, especially when that paper trail just goes cold. It can provide life-changing answers for adoptees, or connect relatives who never even knew each other existed. It can even be the start of a massive family legacy project. At the end of the day, it really taps into that fundamental human need to understand who we are. So how in the world does a little bit of spit manage to unlock centuries of your family's history? Well, it's not magic. It's just incredibly sophisticated science. So let's take a look under the hood. Okay, the core technology is called microarray-based genotyping. I know, that's a mouthful, but here's what it means in simple terms. The lab uses this tech to scan your DNA for hundreds of thousands of specific markers. Then, using something called biogeographical analysis, it compares your unique genetic pattern to this massive database of reference populations from all over the world. By finding the matches, it can piece together a pretty good estimate of where your ancestors likely came from. Now, this is a really important distinction to make. It is absolutely crucial to understand that an ancestry panel is purely about your heritage. It is not a medical test. It's not going to tell you about your risk for certain diseases or give you any other health information. Its focus is 100% on your ancestral origins. Okay, let's switch gears and get practical. Let's look at how this whole thing actually works for you. You might be surprised by just how simple the journey from curiosity to discovery really is. And yeah, this pretty much says it all. The process is so simple. A kit shows up at your house, you provide a quick sample, usually just saliva. You mail it back in the prepaid box, and then a few weeks later, boom, your results are ready. It's really designed to be easy for absolutely anyone. So when it comes to the sample, you've usually got two choices. A blood sample works just fine, totally accurate. But the saliva option is by far the most popular. And the reason is simple. It's completely non-invasive, it's painless, and you can just ship it at room temperature, which makes the whole thing incredibly straightforward. And there it is. That's the magic number. Once the lab gets its hands on your sample, the typical turnaround time to process your DNA and get you that personalized ancestry report is about 3 to 4 weeks. All right, so we've covered the promise and the process. But before anyone sends their DNA off in the mail, it's really important to have a reality check. Let's tackle some of the biggest and most important questions head on. This is it, right? This is the first thing everybody wants to know. Can you actually trust the results it gives you, that ethnic breakdown and the origins in the report? So the short answer is a resounding yes. The lab technology itself is the industry standard and it's incredibly reliable, with an accuracy rate over 99% for just reading the raw data in your DNA. So yeah, it's very good at what it's designed to do. Okay, this is a big one. In our world, data privacy is a huge deal. And let's be real, it doesn't get much more personal than your own genetic code. So what actually happens to your data after you send it in? The promise from any reputable service is very clear on this. Your genetic data is treated as confidential, it's encrypted, and here's the most critical part. It is never shared with or sold to any third parties unless you give your explicit opt-in consent. You stay in control of your most personal information. Here's another question that comes up a lot. What about official uses? Could a test like this be used as proof of a relationship for, say, an immigration application or maybe a legal case?
And the answer to that one is a firm and very simple no. It's so important to remember the purpose of this kind of test. It's for personal insight, for recreation, for satisfying your curiosity. It is not designed to meet the strict legal standards required for a court-admissible DNA test.
So, after all the science, the process, and the practical questions, we come right back around to where we started, with that one powerful idea. The story of humanity is this grand saga of migration and survival and connection. And a piece of that epic story is written in your DNA, just waiting to be read. The only question left is, what will yours say?